What is? You know what? I was gonna do something. I was gonna go. Greetings, Koopalings.
Oh,
Should I do it? Should I do it?
Do it. Throw the shade.
I'm gonna throw the shade hardcore at that motherfucker after this week. Greetings, yeah, I can't even say it. Hold on.
If we ran Nintendo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome to episode 124 of If We Ran Nintendo. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the greatest co-host in all the land, Sean Capri. What's up, Sean?
Hi, Donnie. It's nice to see you, Donnie. Donnie Reese, here on If We Ran Nintendo Shack.
Oh my god!
You get it? If We Ran Nintendo Shack. It works really well, actually.
I got you.
If We Ran Nintendo PlayStation Podcast Shack.
Yeah, okay.
Dads.
And welcome back to the greatest beard in all the land, Jason Lacy. What's up, man?
Hey guys, I'm here.
About time.
I'm really still here.
I thought he quit the show.
I did
He
too.
didn't tell me.
What perfect timing for the episode of Radio is Lame to come out when I hadn't been on like any of my podcasts for 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. It's like, oh, there's so many things to do, and there's so much to worry about. I'm not going to do any of them now.
Finally, I just said, screw it.
Just forget it all.
I get it, man.
Forget it
I
all.
get it. I think everybody listening to that podcast was kind of like, yeah, maybe, why do I do this?
Yeah.
Maybe I'd just walk away like Jason Lacy did. Maybe.
Or like I
Michael
did for a
Bay,
while.
Michael
Yeah.
Bay style.
Yeah, just walk.
Flick the match. Watch it burn. Yep.
Happens.
Good to have you back, buddy.
Hey, thanks guys.
Yeah, man. It was you know.
Kind
it was
of waiting
good.
for
I mean,
Bobby
we
to
had-
quit now, too.
We had some very great shows with Sean and I, and then you come back and hopefully
Yeah.
we can pick it back up and keep.
It's nice to be home
Uh-huh.
on a weekend again. So
I
I'm
guess
kinda
so,
looking forward to that. I haven't been home the past 2 weekends, so it's kind of nice.
I can say that's the one thing that like I don't miss being married. Like the whole oh we gotta go over here to do the no. Then again, I wasn't doing that at the end anyway, so it didn't matter. So my life revolves around podcasting. and
Honey, I got
everything.
15 shows to record tonight, and I got to do a couple live reactions. I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, I'll see you Sunday.
And by the way, if you have your camera out, if you wouldn't mind just taking a little video of the laundry that you're doing a little later. Hey, Chelsea, take a video of feeding Lincoln later.
Exactly.
Bobby loves your videos. Bobby. Lincoln loves your videos, Bobby.
Does he?
Yeah, we put it up on the Chromecast on the TV and everything, and he reaches up at you and he waves at you, and I'm like,
I love it.
I need to get a video. He's so close to going, like, he's mostly doing the Xbox drive. He's mostly going like bah, but he's so close to saying Bobby. It's really
So,
cute.
here's my question for you: does he know his name?
Yeah, he knows it's Lincoln, and he knows like mommy and daddy and Charlie.
So if I
and Oscar.
if I said Link, if I was like saying his name, he would.
Yeah, he would
He
be
would
like, yeah, he would lose his mind. Yeah,
Okay,
because
all right.
you're
I'm gonna have to
Bobby.
do that to him.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that
I was gonna tell you like pretty soon you're gonna have to say peace out Lincoln, but you know Preston's kind of got it.
I can't do that.
I know. I wouldn't want you to.
No.
Why would you think that, Bobby?
Because you just
It's
said it.
very disrespectful to
You just
Preston.
said it.
Man.
I have to go. So I don't know if you know this, Jason. Sean told me like a little while ago. He was like, "This is like beautiful real estate right here. That I should be putting something up here each week
On the microphone for those
on
listening.
the microphone right here on the red thing here." So I'm like, I keep meaning to go buy stickers to put
Ooh.
something here, so I could put a saying here every single week.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna start. You know, tomorrow that's my plan. I'm gonna go to Michael's or something and buy something.
I have a better idea. When the inevitable Guru Patreon launches,
Oh,
people
good
can
God.
pay, and I will make their face an emoji, and then you'll get the
That's
emoji
really
sticker
good.
printed.
Oh,
and stick
that's
it right
awesome.
there.
I like that.
That's
I
my
like that
idea
a
for you.
lot.
It'll
You can
kind of be
have that
like
for
The
free.
Simpsons, like where Bart's writing on the blackboard. It kind of be like something different every time, Bobby.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Well, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna put like different things on there.
Yeah, I like
Peace
it.
out Preston, or like what
I
is
do
up
like-
everybody, or
Either
what
of
is
those
up
is
every
good.
Bobby. You know,
Ooh.
whatever we want to
What
say.
is up, everybody?
Yeah, I think that's
Bubble,
what my
bubble.
saying has to be, because since what's up everybody is what all YouTubers say, maybe I should just change it to, you know.
I don't say that. I just scream.
You're been shook.
Yeah, I'm not having been shook, trust me. Takes more than Mr. Mom to shook me. So
Mr. Mom.
It's
Love it.
only Monday, Mr. Monday.
So Sean, I was saying this. This is amazing, right? So, I got to answer this email because this woman apparently works in a different time zone than me, and it's whatever. But,
Like work email? Are you serious?
no. This is so I was telling Jason before this.
He's just dropping clout again. Don't worry about it.
No.
Okay.
So the other day when I bought that disc, that rotating disc, they contacted me and they're like, "Hey, the turntable that I bought, well, it's massive, right?" So they were like, they reached out to me like, "Hey, thank you for buying it. Would you like Would you like another one? You could pick the size. You can pick which. Here's your options. Do you want one?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, why not?" So I pick one, and the woman says to me, "Well, I'm sorry, like we're sold out of that one that you picked. How about I give you this one instead?" And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine with me. Like it's free. What am I going? I'm not going to be beggars can't be choosers." She just emailed me now and says, "Do you want the other turntable as well?" Because she gave me an option of 3, and I was like, "Okay, why not?"
So wait,
get 2 more turntables.
Bobby has 2 turntables and a microphone. That's where it's at.
Why do I feel like I have no idea what's going on? So I thought that this was going to be like a This Is Us reference, and I'm like, and then the turntable
God.
lost the baby.
No, no,
And then the house burned down.
And then,
no.
And then like the adopted
Anyway.
kid was about to get adopted, but she was like, "You don't know me," and then he's like, "I do know you, but I'm sorry for trying to get to connect to you." What?
All right. Anyway,
How do I know
let's
that?
kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our shout outs.
Fucks with fucks, dude.
So, Jason, do you two have shout outs? Because I was going to let you guys go first. Go ahead, Jason.
I do. Number one, I have to give a shout out to the conglomerate of everyone that, because guys, I finally did it. The Flux Depot's Twitch. We are Twitch affiliates.
Nice. I did it.
I did a thing. I just had to abandon my personal quest, and I used Lucas and his cuteness. That's what got us there. So everyone that has followed and watched our content, thank you guys. We did it.
That is awesome.
We did it.
That's awesome. That is awesome, man. Good job. Good job.
Now I can quit. Now I don't have to stream anymore because that was my goal. And now I hit it, and I'm like, I don't care.
Sean, how about you? You got anything?
I don't think he listens to the show, but Ed Placencia from Married to the Games is my shout out this week. His mother was diagnosed with cancer, and they're going through a rough time. So I just wanted to say I'm thinking of you, buddy. And I was almost in freaking tears listening to him recount how the whole thing went down, and I hear the story all too often. And I'm just I know a lot of people are with him, so that's all. I just thinking about Ed. I love that guy.
Man,
Sucks.
man, how do I?
Everything's gonna be great. Everything's gonna be great. She's gonna go
That's
through her
rough.
treatments. Everything's gonna be awesome.
I hope so. God bless. My shout out goes to Kevin Pearson. He reached out to me last week after he had heard the shout out and kind of was like, I know that it was a joke or whatever, but it really touched me in a personal way. And I, he was just like, I just want to let you know, like I've been going and such. He was having issues with drugs and where are you going, Sean? Where are you going?
Is this Is Us? See, you need to leave it alone for a little bit.
Justin Hartley is an amazing actor.
You need to leave it alone for a little bit.
He was Arrow for a while. Like I love Justin Hartley.
Awesome.
He's the reason why I started watching This Is Us. Kevin, he plays Kevin Pearson, which does a phenomenal job. He played a role on that show because he's an actor on that show. He played a role called The Nanny.
Let's talk about The Last of Us, not This Is Us. Okay.
Anyway, my real shout out is to Bobby Miller.
Yeah.
He just recently started like actually tweeting to me, and was just basically like, "Hey man, I'm enjoying your content," and so on and so forth. And then today he saw the Yankees hat in one of the things. He got a little upset, and he was like, "Hey man, I would like you to come to Baltimore to watch a game on me, and let's go to Camden Yards."
Oh snap!
And I was like, I'm down, dude.
No
so that would be
kidding.
awesome. I would, like he doesn't have to pay for my tickets or anything like that, but like if he can get the tickets and I would pay him back when I get there. But I would love that. I think that would be awesome to like just go down there and spend the day in Camden Yards with somebody that's like, that's their hometown. Could show me around and all that stuff. Like that would be so much fun. So I appreciate that, and I hope that it does happen next spring or summer, whenever baseball comes back.
Oh,
But,
I want to give another shout out to Rybo. He was kind enough to give a shout out on the internet
Thank you. I
to
would bring that
everybody
up if
but
you
me.
didn't.
He's like, I want to shout out everybody who made my summer really great, and listed everybody but me. So thanks, Rybo.
Bobby, you were in that.
Bobby was in it. Yeah,
I was in that.
I think Jason Lacy too. I think Joseph Moran, a couple other people,
Not Sean.
and I was Conan O'Brien outside of the window. Guys. Bobby's looking on the internet right now.
We can't help
I'm
it.
not.
We can't
I'm
help it
not.
that Rybo has good taste. I mean,
That's a good point. That's a good
The
point.
thing of it is we agreed, guys. This isn't going to turn into like a bunch of shout outs.
All right.
So
All right. I
let's-
just, you know what? It wasn't really a shout out. It was more of a shot at Rybo. I love you,
let's
Rybo.
rein it in. Let's rein it in.
all right.
So I don't know. I want to bring this up just because it kind of just happened. There's a rumor.
Hang on a second. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to crap all over me for jumping on Rybo for a second shout out, and you're wasting all this time talking about This Is Us.
This
Okay?
is Nintendo. This is Nintendo.
This Is
Stop
Us? You're talking about This Is Us for an hour
No.
on end? You're dragging this
What are you
gag
talking
out?
about?
Remember
What are you
you
talking about?
Oh my god, are
I don't know
you
what you're talking about.
Jason,
Anyway,
he's got the memory
listen.
of a goldfish. You don't remember what you just did 30 seconds ago?
No, I don't. So the thing of it is
Jason's like,
apparently,
why'd I come back?
apparently there's a new patent that just went out, or a copyright that just went out today or yesterday. Nintendo of America has copyrighted Banjo-Kazooie.
No, they haven't.
I'm telling you, it is all over message boards. It's blowing up right now.
I
It's on-
did not hear this.
Yeah, it's on Resetera. People are showing like images of it and such, which begs to wonder: is Banjo-Kazooie showing up on the N64 Classic,
Or that Smash League.
Smash, yeah.
yeah, it's
Or
kind
both.
of, or both. I think it would be both, if anything. It's pretty amazing.
Or
if
Nuts
this
and
is
Bolts
actually
2.
a thing.
Nuts and Bolts 2, come on, baby.
But I just think it's pretty cool to see. I don't want to know no leaks. I don't want to know who was in leaks, or I don't want to talk about that. But because I luckily I've like kind of slid under the rug with all that and didn't get spoiled by a bunch of tool bags. Game explain. Good
Well, here,
job.
I've got good news. It didn't include Waluigi.
That's good. That's
That's
good.
how you know it's legit.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know what? I don't want to get into this.
Don't go down that road.
Yeah, I don't want to go down that road. I just let it go. Okay, so the topic for this week is: if we ran Nintendo, would we make a licensed sports game again? If so, what sport will we choose, and who would be our cover star of the game? So, what made me think about this today was, well, obviously we're hitting like sports mecca. Like you got the
Yeah.
World Series happening, basketball's back, football's in the midst of everything right now. And so it just made me just think, like, there was a time when Nintendo actually did embrace the licensing, and like Ken Griffey Jr. baseball was a big thing. Wayne Gretzky hockey was a big thing. There was times when they did lean heavily on licenses. They haven't done that in a very long time. They've kind of leaned on Mario, which I'm okay with that to some degree. But man, I would also like them to kind of dip their toe back into a sports franchise and kind of run with it. So I wanted to throw this question out there to see what you guys thought as well, and see what we could figure out here and work into this. So I know that when I threw this out there, like, Fluxy, you got a little excited about it.
It's just a fun topic because I think
Yeah.
it's sorely missing
Yeah.
on the Switch. You get leftover. You know, we get basketball. That's all we get.
Yeah.
I mean,
FIFA.
yeah,
But no football.
FIFA.
No football. Although Mutant League football is coming
Mutant League's
back.
coming.
And that's in a couple weeks or next week or something like that. Which I haven't seen footage of it. I don't know what it plays like, what it looks like, or anything like that. Sean, what about you? Like, what's your take on franchises? And
I think it's well. Okay, so can I just throw one out there? Because Nintendo they often have like, just one button mechanics. It lends itself really, like, you just hit A and that kind of does everything for you. So I propose Colin Kaepernick's take a knee football, and you just get out there and take a knee, and let's call it a day.
I just picture that to be like the old games that were on The Simpsons. You know, you had like Lee Carvalho's putting challenge, and they had all those other.
You have
old
selected
games.
Mega Drive.
They also
I recommend Feather Touch.
I remember on the NES they had Lee Trevino's golf.
Lee Trevino.
That was a big one in back in the day on the NES as well. So
you have to think about like really though, like who are the superstars though, like right, like I don't know. This is an interesting topic because I just don't know if there are, other than maybe like LeBron James, like is basketball maybe the only sport that has superstars that people care about? Maybe if you have like Peyton Manning's football, and because he's retired, and that would be so like Nintendo to just like pick a retired dude, give him a football game.
Too, that they can't necessarily get the license because EA
has
the NFL license.
So dumb.
Okay, so Vince McMahon's XFL, published by Nintendo.
I mean, you could potentially go that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think 2K.
He hate me's XFL.
I think that might, and I'm not trying to rain on it. I think that's something that probably 2K would lock in. You know, because they do the WWE games now.
Yeah,
I would think that they would kind of, and let's be honest, they've been hungry for a football game since they got screwed out of the license by EA. So my first one is baseball. And the reason why I say baseball is there's really no baseball games at all.
No.
You know, you got the MLB The Show on PlayStation, and then it starts and stops there. Like I referenced Ken Griffey Jr. baseball earlier because to me, those were probably the top tier echelon of baseball games back in the day. So I immediately thought like, well, who do you pick as your cover star? And then I thought Mike Trout. And the reason being is Mike Trout is very similar to Ken Griffey in terms of he just loves the sport. He's very he's loved by a lot of young people. So that was my thought. Now, in addition, I thought you got to go heavily with this, and you need to have all the stadiums. You need
you're going full simulation. Like
I'm going full simulation. I'm not going the first Ken Griffey Jr. baseball where it was like just Ken Griffey Jr. and then that was it. Just the players and whatever. Or not the players. It was the stadiums and the teams. We're going full bore. We're going with all the players, everything. I think you got to go the full step. You can't half step in something like this. So that was the first one that I thought of in my mind. As I'm speaking, is anything coming to you guys? And I'm not saying these are the final, like, what we're going to pick and do. These are just, I'm throwing ideas out there.
I think a simulation is good for baseball, and I'd like to say, because this came up when I was talking with your friend Donnie Reese last night, and I'm not familiar with the series at all, but after him talking about it, was actually a question we got. The Power Pros baseball series.
Oh my God, it's a great series, man.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to have that come back. I think we need a simulation, but I think it's always good to have that arcade experience too on the Switch. And I mean, let's face it, football's out. We can't go to football because of EA. Well, I mean, let's bring back Tecmo Bowl. We could do that, you know. My answer is always going to be a hockey game because that's been my favorite sports game to ever play. Besides boxing, like Fight Night was really fun on Xbox, but I would always go with a hockey game. And for my cover athlete, we're gonna, because he's the hotness for the NHL right now. The mascot for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's gonna be the cover. Gonna be the cover athlete for that.
I did put NHL, but I put Sidney Crosby.
Oh, it's gotta be Connor. Gotta be Connor. Come on, man.
Yeah, McGregor.
No, Connor McDavid.
No, McDavid. I said Conor McGregor.
No. Oh, actually, MMA would be interesting as well. But I'm thinking about, what about this, Bobby? You don't even why have one sport? Why have two sports when you can have three sports with not only Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, and Bo Jackson? You have the Pro Stars. You guys remember that cartoon? Do you remember them? All together. Yeah. Have all three. Have a baseball, basketball.
This is why you need to pay attention to the topics during the day and think about them.
Oh, what if you said that it was just gold? What if you said that's just?
I got one that I really like, but it's not a licensed one, and this is where it came about. So I put football, and then I put they can't because the license goes to the EA. They have the NFL. I said, but what if Nintendo was to do like an NFL street football or an NFL Blitz type football with Nintendo franchises, call it NFL Smash Football, 6v6, and you would have 2 linemen, 2 wide receivers, and a running back that you can either move the running back out to a
This
third,
would be kind of like arena football almost.
or like, yeah, something similar to that. And so, but you would have like Team Metroid, Team Zelda, all the different franchises that Nintendo has. Each one has a team, and then that's where the way you play. I like that. I mean, I know
EA
it's not licenses.
Yeah. Does
kind of
EA
off
have the
topic.
players license too, or do they have just the NFL the rights to the teams, or
They have
is
the
the player?
players license as well.
So I wonder if that was separate, because I know they have the players union, the players organization, it's a whole separate thing.
It's
if
all
that could be,
together.
yeah, damn it.
Because a few years ago, they put Tecmo Bowl on the 3DS or the DS at the time, and they basically, it was all the players statistically, but they had different names. The numbers were the same, right?
Yeah.
Teams, they had the city names, but not the team names, and you could go in and edit the names.
Okay.
So if you wanted to spend the time to change all 700 players or
Right.
whatever, you could.
They
do
didn't. They didn't just do QB Bills, or RB Bills,
No.
wide receiver Bills, wide receiver. Bills
and they
too?
had pictures. They had pictures of the players, and the likenesses were similar to them, but it wasn't. It's just so stupid.
I get why it's a good relationship, because EA gets paid, NFL gets paid, but it's just. I hate it. Competition breeds innovation.
Oh my god, dude! It did kill the sports franchises when it happened. It's horrible. The one thing with the hockey though, I don't know that I would want it like a serious hockey game. If it was serious, because like I think of my favorite hockey game are the ice hockey game, but I feel like that's not good
Blades of
enough.
Steel, baby.
Blades of Steel, man. Blades of Steel to me to this day is still one of the all-time classic. I wish that Nintendo. Yeah, I wish Nintendo would reach out, buy this from Konami, and go, okay, we're gonna bring this back, and just remaster it or do something with it, man.
Yeah.
Because that I always felt like that game would get a sequel, and it never did. And man, that game is just so good, dude. They're just so good.
So good.
I see
fighting
it
is
being a
amazing.
collection, man. And if we're talking about that, like I feel like some of those like simpler games, like the way NBA Jam was sort of brought back with Playgrounds, like I just play a couple rounds of that and I kind of get a little tired of it. And so like Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey, like NBA Jam, like these kind of like 2-on-2, maybe 3-on-3 kind of things. You play them a couple rounds, like I just don't really see them as having that like lasting appeal. So maybe if we were at Nintendo, you kind of have like a collection. Like in all seriousness, I was joking with the Pro Stars things, but like maybe there is like a threesome that you have.
Some sports bundle.
Yeah, but I do agree. Like when you talked about the football thing and having like a 6-on-6 or something like that, and like there's a whole bunch of characters that and like there's different teams. It reminds me of Strikers, and that's why I like Strikers so much. And you can kind of like swap out the characters with like their different weights or different specialties or special moves or things like that. I think that would be really neat actually to kind of cross over Nintendo families with real life characters or real life athletes. Would be kind of interesting. Like just kind of caricatures of I don't even know, LeBron James.
I think
Right next to Bowsette.
I think they kind of touched on it when they did, when they started doing the commercials with Mario Aces, and they were doing it with Nadal.
Yeah.
Like I felt like that kind of would have been cool if they. Don't get me wrong, I like the Mario stuff. But the only one that I feel like they take kind of serious is golf. The rest of them just really don't feel like you're playing the sport. Yeah. Like Mario Golf feels like you're playing golf. I mean, you get the wacky courses occasionally, but like when you play the first few courses, it feels like it's a true, especially the one on the 3DS. It felt like I'm playing golf in a tournament. And it's go. And a lot of times, like when you see like the obstructions, it might be like giant mushrooms and stuff. But it's also like, well, that could be a tree, so that's fine. That doesn't affect me too much. But like when I look at games like Strikers is a pass because that's a really good franchise. But like when I look at Mario Baseball, it just doesn't feel like baseball.
Yeah.
And it's like there's just something missing on that. And tennis is another one where like there's gimmicks and stuff behind it, and I don't they should be able to just pull that stuff away and go, okay, we're going to make a true core tennis game where you can play. Like, maybe if you want to do Mario Tennis, mix it a little bit. Maybe buy the licenses for, whatever tennis is called. I don't know what their official brand is, but where you would get like Wimbledon and the U.S. Open and the Australia Open, and like maybe like you pick Mario, but you're playing against like Roger Federer and Nadal and all these different good tennis players, or you could pick those tennis players, and then by the way, here's Waluigi and Wario and all that, and they're playing against you as well. And like I just feel like that would make it kind of fun, and it'd be something totally different because nobody ever would do something like that. And I feel like Nintendo could kind of get away with it, especially if you made. And the one thought that came to mind was like if you made the characters kind of Fortnite-ish, like that cartoony feel, but looked kind of realistic as well. I think that's the way. Yes, I think that'd be the way to get away with the pro players.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the list of games that Nintendo makes, like Mario Strikers, I probably wouldn't touch that one. Mario Golf, I wouldn't touch that one. And then when I look at the two that stand out to me are Mario Baseball and Mario Tennis, and I feel like those two are probably the definite ones that need to get fixed. Now, Sean, you kept bringing up the NBA a little bit. If you do an NBA game, do you lean on a serious quality or an arcadey quality? I know before you.
Do you remember? Did you ever play NCAA basketball on the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Like that game to me was awesome, and we don't really get that perspective. It kind of like swung around every time like you took offense. And you have like that forever like infinitely blue background. Like there's no crowd or anything. Like it was that. Like it was real to us because like there was nothing better, but it was really an arcade game at its core. Yeah. I would like to see like kind of playing around with perspective a little bit if really Nintendo's going to do something like this and make it interesting and not like anything else. To me, I was playing Playgrounds and it's just like, I don't know, man. I felt like it was tired and old and like not that exciting to me. It wasn't that fun. It just seemed like I'd done it 1,000 times before. So I kind of want to like basketball. I think there can be a little bit of fun with it, especially when you kind of get a little loose and fast and loose with the rules. With basketball, like, you touch somebody and they're like, ooh, don't touch me. And just a little bit like that. But like you throw Nintendo fun with it, like, and you kind of have the whole like Wayne Gretzky 3D hockey, or like you're blowing guys through the net and everything. And you can still have a little bit of NBA Jam, but play with the perspective a little bit and do kind of like, if something crazy happens, just like double and triple down on that, like crazy replays, like things coming from underneath the net and people just like slamming down, like the kind of like how Mortal Kombat does with fighting. Do that with basketball and throw a Nintendo spin on it.
Kind of like what they do with Mario Kart, when you can go back and you can mess with the camera and the footage and the replays, and you can actually build your own replays and stuff. Like that would be kind of pretty awesome.
Like honestly. I would even do like a create your own character, really, in any of these things, but like a fun, like not necessarily a me, because I'm tired of seeing like my me in a stupid jumpsuit everywhere. Like I want to see a character creator from Nintendo that is fun but just a little bit different. You can have like clothes that somebody would actually wear. It's not totally goofy and outrageous. Like that's something that legitimately I could get excited about.
I agree. I definitely agree with everything you're saying. I can't dispute that at all. I look at sports in general and I feel like it started with EA buying the NFL, and then it just slowly but surely just pulled away. And it's like we don't have... Like, dude, there was a time when you would buy a console, and there would be 6 to 10 baseball games, coming out. Or 3 or 4 football games coming out. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't have that no more. And it's... Say through it, every sport had numerous games hitting. Now, I don't know whether that's just because the games weren't selling or they just...
I think it was because they're selling so well that EA's like, yep, we're putting our money down. But what if it was like the NINFL, like N for Nintendo FL? The Nintendo.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said. Like if you had the NFL, or if you just did NFL Smash Football, or you're saying, well, I see what you're saying.
Just being a little cheeky.
Yeah.
Right.
The big NFL.
because there was when was it, like a year or two ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. I saw one time in Nintendo voice chat in the forums, someone had posted an image that someone made of like almost like a Madden football, but with Mario.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it was all kind of like a realistic feel, like the field was real and all that, but it was set up where you're like behind the lineman as the quarterback, and you kind of had that perspective. Really cool. It really was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I actually want this really bad. And there was another thing that they were going to do. I remember this company came out and said, we're going to make this for the Wii U, but it fell apart. Well, I don't know whether it fell apart or not. It just never happened. But they were doing a football game, but they were naming the character, they were building the teams after people of history. So like they had like the Revolutionary War team and like George Washington and those types of players were on the team. And then they had like, I guess, the Civil War, and you had like Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant and all these different people over eras.
Who are they?
They're some of the greatest people you will ever hear names of again. Don't ever disrespect again there. Don't ever do that again, Mr. Capri. Do not disrespect American history. But they were also going into different territories as well, like Genghis Khan and having people from that era.
Oh yeah, him.
God.
Bobby's gonna kick me off this show.
I am. You're starting to work the nerves again. I realize what the problem is. This is the problem, Jason. When it's me and Sean gets serious mood.
Yeah.
When you're here, he tries to be all cute and giggly and make you laugh and stuff, and throws the rhythm off. So, knock it off, Capri.
I'm reaching over and touching Jason, but you're in the middle of us, so it's not gonna work.
Oh.
So, I've always often wondered whatever happened with that game, because I hadn't heard anything else, whether or not it was going to come out. I just feel like sports titles altogether are very lacking on, they're not just Nintendo, like all franchises, like all consoles.
It's very annualized, and it's very just, I don't want to say phoned in, but in a way it is, because you just don't have, there's not the incentive anymore, you know. Like Madden, we can update the rosters, we can tweak the engine a little bit, we can put in a couple features, and where else are you going to buy?
Yeah,
you're not going to buy anything else, because this is the only football game you're going to be able to buy, you know. So and when I was actively playing NHL, it was like every year we were hoping for something, and it was just it never delivered, and it's just like, yeah, it's not like it's like you said, it's not like the old days where you had umpteen different versions of the same sport being released at the same time. So there was urgency to have, you know, we have the best playbook, or we have the players, and we have this, and we have the best physics, or we have the best, you know.
Yeah.
That's just not there anymore.
No, it's definitely lacking. I do like the idea. I will say this though. I do like the idea of when Sean was talking about like the XFL, because I think that's the wild card in all this. And I think that opens some things up. If the WWE, if Vince McMahon is smart, and he is a pretty savvy business owner, if they were to do something where they're just like, we're not going to lock it behind one company. We're going to let numerous companies go, and we're going to collect all the money from all the different companies. I think they could definitely get into some crazy stuff. Like, man, could you imagine if Tecmo got on that one, and that was their Tecmo Bowl from now on? Like, dude, I'd be excited. I would, because the thing of it is it's weird how not having that license tends to just hurt for some reason. It just hurts the game a little. Because you go in and you're like, who's good, who's bad? I don't know. I have no idea. Like, when you go in and you play like an NHL, you know right away, like, the Flyers are the greatest team ever. And
is that really the way it goes?
I have no idea. I just said that.
Atlanta Thrashers.
New Jersey Devils are typically pretty awesome. There was a time when they were pretty awesome, but, you know, Edmonton's not that good anymore, Sean.
Hey, they beat Boston, and they beat
My team's
Washington.
the worst in the league. My team's the worst.
They did okay. That would be
I
the
haven't
best
watched
though,
hockey in a
man.
while.
Just some of these teams or some of these games can be named after like totally like relic players that nobody knows like who the heck they are. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know. You could have like George and George LaRock, NHL. Yeah. How does it go? Like Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey. Yeah. So like George LaRock's like Rock'em Sock'em hockey.
Well, you know what? You say
Nobody
that,
knows who
and I
George
wonder
LaRock is.
what happens to, like, would there be a way?
That's what I'm wondering with Peyton Manning. To be honest with you, like I would love
Like,
to see.
is there a way to go get old time players
Deliver
that
those
are no
pizzas
longer
out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think NFL is. I really think NFL is off the table
Yeah.
altogether because
Yeah.
I think what they do is they still pay retired players
Yeah.
through, the NFLPA. So
Pensions and this and that.
yes, but I wonder about baseball, and I wonder about like
We haven't mentioned soccer.
that's another thing. Like EA doesn't have
Curling?
EA doesn't
Bowling.
have.
Did you say curling?
I said curling.
Curling, yeah. Paul Martin's curling. Paul Martin is a Canadian legend. He's practically on our money, you guys. This guy is amazing. Could you imagine how much? I bet curling is one of those games you'd be shocked at how fun it would be in a video game. Have you ever played in Mario and Sonic tennis or go to the Olympics? It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I think
Curling.
that's the thing with the Nintendo advantage is like if you can't get the license, well, we're just gonna throw our cast of characters in there and it can make anything work. you
And I
know?
think that's good to some degree, but I also think that like sometimes they lean too heavily on it.
Right,
What's
and that
Paul
lends
Martin?
more to
Prime
the
Minister.
arcade party experience rather than some people want an actual sports. They want that hardcore, maybe not hardcore. They want that sports simulation, somewhat
Yeah.
on the realm of realism. They don't want the opposite.
I remember
Kevin Martin is the curler.
Geez.
Paul Martin was the prime minister.
Oh God.
Paul Martin was his dad.
Paul Martin was his father. I'm
I
embarrassed.
remember when
I'm
I was
embarrassed.
talking to Jules when Jules and I were doing behind the scenes. One of the games that we did was
Jules Washington's
NFL Quarterback
cricket.
Club.
Oh, that.
And-
Quarterback club. Oh man.
Yeah, and because he worked on that game, and we had discussed it. Like, it's funny because the first year that they did NFL Quarterback Club, it relied heavily on the Quarterback Club, like tournament that they did, that the NFL players did,
Mhm.
the NFL quarterbacks did. And then as time moved on, people were like, no, we have to have a football game in here. So then they built a football game around it. And it actually went for a very long time, right up until EA bought the license out from underneath everybody. But, I wonder if that's something that Nintendo could do, is go like, hey, we're going to buy the NFL Quarterback Club, if it is still a thing. I don't even know if it still is a thing.
I don't know.
But if they were to buy, like, to go to the quarterbacks and go like, hey, we want to buy your license, and then put them in your game, and then basically you could build a football game around it and just have no namers other than the quarterbacks. And I wonder if the quarterbacks would be enough to push a game like that.
We need an indie sports game where you get to be the referee. You're out there throwing the flag.
That's
Get
a red
the-
card. That's definitely a red card.
Get to yell at coaches. It'd be great.
I was thinking about Charlton Heston's Big Buck Hunter on Nintendo.
Okay, so
No?
what franchise or what sport do you guys really think is in need of what sport should Nintendo grab if we were to do this?
We've got basketball kind of covered already.
Mm-hmm.
I think football has the biggest glaring need that it's going to have the biggest appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms like hockey is very popular, but I think if we look at sales numbers, I think Madden outsells any other sports game, except unless we're talking FIFA and globally. But we already have soccer, so I think it only makes sense that they'd have to go football, but unfortunately that's also your most limited going football.
Yeah, it's kind of like on paper it sounds like a great idea, and then you think about it and it's like there's really nothing out there that makes you go like, you have to have this franchise, this license game on your thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if, like I said before, if you did mix the Mario stuff with a serious thing, if that would be an answer. But I don't know if that works either. I don't know how that pans out.
Exactly.
What about? Yeah, I just think it doesn't. It's weird because as we talk about it, it does like.
What about esports? Ninjas Battle Royale, brought to you by Nintendo. Hey man, I'm trying. There's no other sports left. Maybe this is why they don't do it anymore. This is probably
that's what I'm
why.
thinking. I'm thinking like on
disc golf.
I'm wondering if it's a thing where it gets pitched, and then this is what happens, where it's like, you know what? There's really nothing, because baseball, it's just not as popular as it was at one time. It's not America's favorite pastime anymore. It's looked upon as a boring game anymore. So that just doesn't work. It's crazy too, because in Japan it's huge.
Right.
Like, it's still a big thing in Japan. Japan still gets numerous baseball games. Like I said, football's locked up. Hockey is the one that's probably the wild card because it's different than soccer. But if you're looking at Nintendo and you're going like big scale, soccer probably is the one. You know, that like you pick and you go like, okay, but then you have such a strong game with Mario Strikers. Why do you mess with that? You know what I mean? Like, why would you take Mario Strikers off the table unless you just do both, you know? And you go like, we're going to do both. But I really don't see anything out there.
But like back in the day, there was like 16 soccer games. There was like International Superstar Soccer. There was like Mega Man Soccer. Everything had a soccer game, man. Like, and it's just crazy to me because like back in the day, like the reason that I think sports games are awesome and that I've always really liked sports games is because they're the gamiest games. They're gameplay first. They have to be. They don't rely on like narrative or anything else, like any of the crutches that a lot of games kind of rely on. It's the sport. The sport has to be fun to play. So I'm kind of amazed that we don't see more of them, or even that sports games, in my mind, they've kind of gone in the way of fighting games, where if you have to love them, you have to love a fighting game to really get into it. And you have to you have to be like Coach Mo, who puts in like 70 hours a year into Madden on every single platform. I don't understand it. So I'd love to hear his comments on this too, like what is missing. But for me, like, it's just and to his points, the games have moved away from the arcadey nature that we grew up with, and from his perspective, is for the better. And I imagine that a lot of people are kind of like him. The people who play Madden every single year are like him, and they hold this this perspective of, why would you ever go back to this simplistic way when things have gotten so much better? Like, he kind of goes like, why would you play Wolfenstein when you could play like the latest Call of Duty kind of thing? And like, I don't necessarily agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that like there's two gameplay styles which scratches two different itches and appeals to two different people. But like, I just miss where's the entry point? Where's the on-ramp? Where's for the for the either the kids or for the gamers who just like want to casually play? As much as the hardcore sports games have done a decent job at onboarding people and teaching them the ways of their games, they still are trying to teach you the way of like their master class of sports games. So I just like, for me, basketball is a no-brainer. Hockey, I think, is also a no-brainer. I think hockey translates to, and this is not just me being Canadian, I think hockey translates to video games better than any sport. I think the flow of the game is great. I think it makes sense for the way that the player controls the puck instead of like dribbling. I think is kind of clunky in basketball.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think there's an ability to go back to, and I'm not saying, when I say this, I'm not saying graphics wise, like clean it up, make it updated, but to go back to when NHL was like on the Sega Genesis, like that, you know what I mean? Like, that's the hockey I loved. Like NHL,
that top
whatever
down
it was.
Kind of ice.
94, 95.
Yeah. Like, if they were to take that style and go, this is it, but we're just going to make it fresh and new.
Yeah,
Put
Mario
nice polish on
and
it.
Mario Lemieux.
The new Mario Brothers.
Mario and Mario Lemieux.
Jeez.
I'd be honest with you, I wouldn't be opposed to that. If I'm being honest, like something like that. But I feel like that's the thing. Like I personally, that's the one hockey that I loved.
Mm-hmm.
I loved playing it all the time. The animations and all that stuff. Like if you took
Turbo
that
button.
style and just refresh it and make it new again. Because to answer to what you were saying about what Coach Mo was saying, it was like those games were arcadey, but they were serious at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody could pick it up and play. And I feel like you get a game like MLB The Show, and man, I don't have the time to put in to get good at that game. Just to learn how to hit, it takes forever to learn how to hit with that game. So to me, that's the biggest problem. And like Madden takes forever to learn.
There's a barrier to entry.
Yes, because you got to learn. It's not a matter of like, okay, I picked play. You got to know defensive schemes. You got to know, like, are they going to blitz? If they blitz, what's my hot route? Like, if you don't know football inside and out, you struggle with those games. And I think that's a problem. You need to have that, like, something that's fun, a little bit easy, but a little bit arcadey. And you can do arcadey and serious at the same time. That's just, like, my opinion on it. So,
yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add to this, or is that pretty much what you think?
I want to encourage people to visit the Discord, the If We're a Nintendo channel on Guru's Discord, because I just posted a picture of Jason's face.
My forehead's so huge in that picture.
That is all. Thank you guys for checking out another episode of If We Ran Nintendo. Be sure to check us out on Twitter. You can follow Sean Capri, Sean Like Connor, Capri Like the Pants. You can check out Jason Lacy over at Fluxy. Right? Fluxy.
Only on Discord.
JW Lacy on Twitter.
JW Lacy.
Oh, JW Lacy. What,
I'm
man?
all professional.
That's okay.
There's some weird Chinese man that has Fluxay and he's never given it up. And he hasn't used Twitter in 10 years.
That's nice. You can follow me at Nintendo Gurus. If you want to follow or support Sean on Patreon, you can go over to patreon.com/makeusbetter. Also, Jason Lacy has a Patreon, patreon.com/fluxdepose. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Bye-bye.